Welcome to Digital SAT Deep Dive. My name is Vince. Let's get straight into this question. So number 7 here is a word in context question. And we know this because if we look at the question, which we always do first, saying pick the most logical and precise word or phrase to complete the text. And obviously we have to read the text and figure out which word makes the most sense based on the context. So before we look at the answer choices, our first tool is that we're going to try to predict. And we like to predict because it's going to prevent us from getting tricked by some of the SAT's traps. Now, if you try to predict and you just kind of can't, okay, fine, look at the choices, but do try before you just look. So we're going to do this nice and slowly to really try to notice everything possible that can help us for this sort of question. So I'm going to read this out loud here. The province of, I'm just going to call it X, the province of X was situated on the Pacific coast, hundreds of kilometers southeast of T, the capital of the Aztec Empire. Okay, great. Because X's location within the empire was so blank, cacao and other trade goods produced there could reach the capital only after a long overland journey. So we have a couple of things that I think are descriptive about this X location. You can only get there after a long journey, or you can only get to the capital from there after a long journey. And it's hundreds of kilometers away from the capital. Okay, so these seem like relevant facts to me. And I think I'm going to be able to predict here. I'm just going to predict like it was so far. And think about it back in the day, that was really freaking far, especially if you're going over uneven terrain like jungle or whatever. So we have an idea of what we're looking for. This is a remote province. It's so far away from the capital. It takes forever to get there. And by now we have a really good idea of what we're looking for. Now let's look at the choices. Was it unobtrusive? Unobtrusive means something that doesn't really stand out. And that's not really what the clues are about. Even if logically you think it doesn't stand out because it's far away, the clues are literally saying it's far away. They have nothing to do with whether it stands out or not. Same thing with choice B. It might seem like this place is concealed because it's so far away and it's kind of hard to get there. But if we look at the clues again, if we need to, we can always look back at the text. And the only clues we're getting is how far away it is from the capital. So concealed is adding in something that the text didn't say. What about approximate? That actually makes no sense at all to me. Approximate, the location isn't approximate. It's like an exact location. It's just far. So approximate has nothing to do with it. What about peripheral? Peripheral, of course, by now we think is the right answer. And in fact, it is correct. If you've ever heard the term peripheral vision, it means the vision on kind of the edge of your field of vision. So peripheral means something kind of at the margin, the edge, far away from the center. So that's a perfect match. So let's think about all the tools we want to use for this sort of question to get this right. I know we just got it right pretty easily, but for future questions that are harder, here's what we want to do. Read the text, think about the description of the thing, and a helpful tool for that actually that I didn't mention, when we predict, we want to know what the blank is referring to. What is the blank referring to here? It's referring to X's location. Okay, so we want to look at the parts of the text that deal with X's location. That, of course, those are the parts we underlined already, but really good idea. Make sure you know what the blank is referring to. Then predict, or at least try. Once you've got your prediction in mind, hopefully it's based literally on those things that you found in the text that are descriptive, then you're ready to look at the choices. And when you're looking at each choice, be careful not to make up a story that isn't supported by the description in the text. What the SAT is trying to do with, for sure, choices A and B here is get you thinking too much away from the text and thinking that, maybe this thing is unobtrusive or maybe it's concealed. Of course, the text doesn't tell us that those things are true, and we shouldn't assume they are. We only can really conclude things that the text says are definitely true or that must be true based on the text. So there we go, peripheral. So good luck with this sort of question, and make sure you're careful when you're working on these so you develop good habits.